Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for a very exciting product update webinar. My name is Zoe Lindsay, Director of Voice and Security Content here at Blumira, and I will be introducing you to our presenters in just a moment. But before we dive in, a very quick bit of housekeeping. Hopefully, you are able to see the slides being shared, hear me, and see myself and our other presenters here. If that's not true, or if that changes as we go through today's presentation, please add your feedback in the chat window, and we'll do what we can to help troubleshoot there. Also, we are going to try and address any incoming questions in the moment if we can. Please feel free to add those as we go through in the Q&A window. However, if we've already moved on to the next section, don't worry. We're holding time at the end of the session to get through as many of those together with you as possible. Please let us know where you're dialing in from today. I always love to see where folks are joining from. So, to get us started, you already know me. I will introduce you to our product presenters today, Amanda and Michael. Amanda, do you want to introduce yourself?
Of course. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining. My name is Amanda Berlin. I'm the Senior Product Manager of Cybersecurity here at Blumira. I'm just super excited to be here today to talk to you about our SOC Autofocus feature that we have going on. And we have a bunch of other product updates, so looking forward to it.
And Michael.
Awesome. Yeah, really excited to be here today as well. I'm Michael Keller. I'm VP of Product here at Blumira. Can't wait to talk more about SOC Autofocus and where we're going in 2026. Thanks, Zoe.
Thank you, which is a great segue into our agenda slide, which I'm going to have to make bigger to be able to read the details. Here we go. The star of the show today, we're not going to make you wait and have a bunch of opening acts. We're going to lead right off the top and tell you all about SOC Autofocus, which is our context enrichment tool to help you make better decisions faster and continues in our trend of helping to accelerate the rate at which you are able to resolve new findings. We are going to share a success story from a partner of Blumira's that has already been using and finding value in autofocus. Michael then, as he alluded to, is going to give you a walkthrough of what to expect from Blumira to 2026 and beyond, which would be very exciting. And then I've got a little update for you at the close before we wrap about how we are going to be bringing the same ethos of accessibility and simplicity in naming to our editions as we do to the findings and details that we provide you. With that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Amanda to introduce SOC Autofocus.
All right. Thank you so much, Zoe. So here we are. This is SOC Autofocus. This is our implementation of AI into the product. I do want to start by saying that this has been something that we've thought a lot about. We did not want to be just another one of those companies that shoves AI into the product that doesn't really seem to help you in your day-to-day. We wanted this to be really well thought out and something that would save you time and effort and just hassle when it comes to doing investigations. So that this is what we came up with. So this is the broad overview, kind of what it looks like in the finding itself. And I will share my screen here so you can see it in the product. Hopefully, a bunch of you were able to take a look at it in the product itself already. Let me see if can I share now? There we go. All right. And here we are. So the example finding I'm going to use is on this Kerberos attack behavior threat priority 1. And you're going to see it over here on the right-hand side, nice and prominent on each finding, and you can run it at your leisure whenever you think it's going to help. So this is not something that you have to run. It's not going to block your view. Like it's something that's supposed to be helpful in here for you. So at the top is when you can generate it. It'll tell you when it happened, the name, and some of the more important information at the top here is how critical it happens to find it and when you're supposed to respond with it within. and our confidence in what the positive, true positive, false positive, if it needs tuning, anything like that, will kind of bubble all of those things up to the top there. It also has a summary in here, and then I'm going to go in the slides a little bit deeper in depth, but this is kind of what it looks like. You can just kind of scroll down here, take in the pieces that you need, potentially copy all of that analysis out if you want it, and do what you want with that output that is in there. So if we want to go back to the slides.
Sure can.
Perfect. Thank you. So one of the things that, like I said, we put a lot of thought and effort into this. We wanted to make sure we did was not just have it be pulling information from one of the generic AI models that are out there. It actually is taking in all of the last 7 years of information from our incident detection engineering team, as well as our CX and SOS teams. There's a lot of information that we've put into the product in the analysis and the workflows and the logic and all of that over a very long time, that goes into the responses that this AI SOC autofocus is going to get. It also not only takes all of that information into account, it is going to take information from the evidence table itself, from the finding that you're running it on, as well as anything that is related to that finding. So 3 days before, 3 days after. So there's like a 6-day time frame in which it's going to look for similar findings, similar evidence, potential attack paths, and take all of that into account when it generates this summary for you. So it is not just kind of in a box, it is taking all of that other contextual information into play when it's being generated. If you want to go to the next slide, I'll dig in deeper to what's in here. So I already covered kind of the executive kind of summary that's at the top, as well as those pieces of information that we bubble up that are, could be time sensitive. But then we dig down a little bit deeper as you scroll down. So first off, after that summary, you're going to see more details. You're going to have the name in here, the finding ID if you need it, especially if you're going to copy that out output externally, as well as TTPs, any affected assets, and IOCs. Those lists can be real long. If any of you, I'm sure have worked incidents before, you've seen how long those IOC lists can be. So we have the little expander there. If it happens to be a little bit too long, they won't take up your entire screen. Next, after that, we go into some deeper technical analysis. So we're going to tell you why and how that happened. And it's going to pull in those IOCs and assets and kind of give you a plain text explanation above and beyond what the normal analysis for that finding is, because it's also taking in that external context of those other findings. You go to the next slide.
And we did get a quick question here in
Sure.
the chat from Jonathan asking, if I execute remediation recommendations, can I interact with it providing the results to look for further recommendations?
You cannot technically interact with it. So what you will be able to do, however, is when you go through that workflow in the finding itself, it will take those steps that you've gone through under consideration, right? So we've seen this in beta testing where people have gone through the findings, they've closed things as false positive, or they've closed them as true positives, and it will either it still will take that into consideration, but we've also seen where it's like kind of told you that you were wrong sometimes, which I appreciate. Because I never get all of the pieces that I need to get. I'll say never. Sometimes you miss things, right? So we've seen it where you've marked it as a false positive and said it was okay, but the AI actually suggests, well, you probably should go look at this too. And it was right. Like we missed a spot. So it's nice to kind of run that again and have it look at that additional information that you've done inside that finding. So kind of not a direct yes answer, but kind of. But great question. Thank you so much. Um,
Certainly.
yeah. And then after that, the detailed information and the what and the how, you get deeper dive investigation remediation steps. So just like we have the workflow that is actually in the finding itself, these are taking that and that additional context and what you may or may not have done in that workflow already and giving you investigation and remediation, right? So if it happens to be something that you do need to perform defer on, you can actually walk through step by step each one of these. And the investigation was like 7 steps long, but I cut it off to 3. But it gives a very good and detailed step through of what you need to do for that investigation and remediation. Something I forgot to add a screenshot of on here also, I think, because I think this is my last slide.
It is.
It is okay.
Yeah.
Um, there's actually at the bottom, you can copy that analysis and it'll copy the entire thing into your clipboard if you want to put it in a external ticketing system or document to share for defer, and whatever you may need it for. It is always going to be there. However, we're not going to, cull those and make them not available. You'll be able to go back and see what that AI investigation step were when you ran it the last time. So that's pretty much it. Um, if anyone has any questions, let me know. We
We
have a lot
did
of
get
really,
another question.
okay, all
Oh,
right, go for it.
another question here in the chat. Can you obtain more evidence from customer systems during the investigation steps?
Can you obtain more evidence from the customers? Oh, like maybe pulling information in from like report builder, maybe, and giving it to AI, I'm assuming.
We can follow up and get more detail
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
question here in chat. I think the thing that I
Okay.
like about this, we've always taken the approach of trying to enable responders at every level of experience with that kind of step-by-step workflow. You still get access to that. I really like the why and the how. I think that that's really valuable context that as responders have more experience under their belts, they will kind of have internalized and have an intuition around. But for those that are still getting those cycles under their belt to have it all internalized, it's going to help to have access to that expertise on demand from Blumira's team. Uh, a couple more questions came in here before. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say they replied yes. So currently not right now. We are working on um another project with additional information that we could pull in, but that's still kind of in discovery and kind of yet to come. But I would love at any point in time to talk to you about what that workflow, what you would imagine that workflow would look like. So feel free to reach out to me, and I'd love to kind of go through your questions and thoughts on that.
And we're going to get a lot more about what's coming next for SOC Autofocus and Blumira overall in just a couple of minutes.
Oh yeah.
Does it include references to previous findings within our environment for additional context?
It will not link you to the specific finding itself, but it will pull in the information from the evidence. I believe we can see that in the back end currently. So if that is something that you'd be interested in, I can definitely make note of that because it is that's helpful to know.
Mhm. And it is, you said, correlating over, you said 6-day window?
Yep.
Yeah. Robert said, yes, please. So I think that's a yeah. If we copy the complete info, is it enough to put into another AI like ChatGPT to get additional steps or help with the steps? Um, I think that going a little bit more into the context that we're using from what Blumira has built may be helpful there.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. It's definitely, I mean, we've all worked with AIs that have not told us exact truths.
Mm.
So I would do that at your own discretion. We have put a lot of time and effort into our prompts to make sure that it doesn't hallucinate. However, it is AI. So you put it in another one, it's definitely possible it will. Um, you could try.
And for those that are interested in a little bit more behind the scenes, we have a couple of blog posts that are going to be going up this week that are going to be a in-depth walkthrough of how autofocus was developed, some of the measures that we put into place because security is always a priority for us. We wanted to make sure that however we were enabling this context enrichment, we're doing so with security as the first step, first and primary step. So we'll have more details on that for you. But the goal was, making that expertise more accessible. What license is required? And we can use today's names because we haven't gotten to section 4 yet. What's required, and can you talk a bit about capacity limitations?
Sure, sure. So current license edition is XDR. Future license to be announced in like 5 minutes from now.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, current license is XDR. As well, and then about the capacity limitations. If you notice, I kind of cut it off because I'm just not real good at copy paste, I guess it seems lately. Right underneath AI investigation, it says 2 of 10 runs left this month. It'll actually tell you how many runs you have per month, and that is limited based on how many user licenses you have. So everyone gets on XDR gets 10 base per month, no matter what. I mean, you have to have like a user at least, I think, on XDR.
Oh no!
It
I
seems
think
like
Amanda may have frozen for a moment.
yeah, we lost her. But I'll finish her answer until Amanda comes back. But as she was saying, so basically everyone gets 10, and then there's a limitation basically on the size of your organization. So you essentially get an additional run per 5 licensed users within the platform. So it scales with your organization is the way it's designed. And obviously, if you run into any limitations or anything like that, please reach out to us. In terms of the capability itself, you can run it on any finding, and there's no core limitation there. There is a essentially a cooldown period where if you run it, there's a certain amount of time you have to wait until you're able to run it again. We just want to be kind of intentional there. And there's not a lot of value in trying to run it multiple times in the same finding within a short period of time. So those are the only kind of limitations or capacity constraints we have.
Excellent. Well, it is unfortunate that Amanda froze, but that was the last slide for her. So I'm sure she's getting rejoined here. But for the moment, as Amanda mentioned, this is a project that we have been cooking up in the lab for a good long while. And part of that development process, after we got past our own dog fooding of it, was working with a select group of customers and partners to validate out that it was actually delivering on what we were aiming to in helping to clarify those investigations. And you can find a case study, which will be getting published very soon on our blog, with 9 Star Connect, who is a Blumira partner that has been leveraging SOC autofocus in their own practice, where previously they had been doing that workflow of taking some of the details. If they had additional questions on what to do next, they were going to different LLMs and using a chat interface to try and find out how to follow up. And we wanted to help simplify that process. So using autofocus, they are able to do less of that manual analysis, less platform hopping, and having that limited context drawing in from what we have validated and is practiced against best workflows. They had a 2-person team that was struggling to keep up with time-consuming alerts. And so we were able to deliver them those plain language summaries, additional investigation steps on how to review and resolve that finding, and direct links, which, as they have said, has cut their investigation time in half. Travis Short, who you can find some more feedback from in that case study, said with autofocus, I can speed run investigations because it's just a click of a button. It can be a time saver and a great place to get started. So, I will go ahead and pass it over here to Michael. We're talking about what we've been releasing today, but where are we headed, Mike?
Awesome. Thanks, Zoe. And I briefly wasn't sure what I said, so I want to go back and say those runs, that limitation, it's per month, just to be clear,
Oh, yes,
that
thank
it
you.
does reset every month. So no issues there, hopefully. Okay, cool. So in terms of where we're going for 2026, you see here, there's kind of 5 key areas that we're really thinking about across the organization and across our customer base. The first kind of pillar and what we're really starting with right now, it's kind of attached to some of what Amanda referenced earlier, is really around automation and response. So, what that means is, things like extending what we're doing in the EDR platform. How do we kind of make it easier for you to respond to what matters most in Blumira with your tooling, with our stack? When you're getting that, assistance from the AI, how do you then have less time between understanding to response and even building automation on top of that, so that you know that you're protected the way you want to be protected? So that means configuration and capability. So that's something we're really thinking thoughtfully about. And of course, that also pairs, and this is some of the questions we got, is making sure that we have the right data, and then we have the right data in the right place so that you're able to take action off of it and get access to it. And so that's where we're thinking a lot about ingestion. So today, what that means is obviously cloud connectors, syslog, as well as through the endpoint. And we have some really exciting discovery that we're doing around kind of the concept of HTTP ingest that right now is in kind of architecture, and then we get to kind of build it out and launch it with our customers, hopefully relatively early next year. And that's one I think where no matter what tools you're using, no matter how your stack is built, it'll be easier to use Blumira than it was the day before. And that's again what we're really trying to do is that kind of human plus AI, human plus automation. How do we make that an easy platform for you to use, a platform that basically just works? That's where we want to be, and so that's a big part of that. Of course, I couldn't talk about 2026 without mentioning AI at least briefly. Today is day one or day two for us essentially, but there's a lot more to come. And we're really excited about your feedback, really excited about your questions. The more you talk to us, the more you use the functionality, the more you talk to our team and share that feedback, the better we're going to be able to make decisions going into 2026 and extend the capability, build others. We have a lot of internally tested tools that we're thinking about, and the opportunity to partner with you all and understand what's going to be most valuable is important to us. We're really focused on, making it so that when you're in Blumira, you're focused on what matters most. So reducing that noise, you're spending less time going through manual investigation steps, and we're basically providing you an answer bot versus kind of a question discussion. We're relatively intentional that our first launch is not just like a chat bot for you to go explore, but is really something that is designed to answer your question and reduce the hallucinations, as Amanda mentioned, as we're going. So this is where we want to live. That doesn't mean there aren't other capabilities or interaction models that will make sense, but that's what we're being thoughtful about, is how do we automate your time as best as possible, that so that when you're in Blumira or any tooling, you're getting the most out of it, and that you're able to provide more unique value back to your company, or you're able to showcase to your board the value of Blumira and the investment you made. Um, and for any MSPs and partners on the call, we're continuing to invest in our partners' platforms. And so this also applies to really anybody, but where you're living, that's where we want Blumira to be. That doesn't necessarily mean that you spend all of your time in Blumira. It could, but however you want to structure your day, we want to make that easier. So being a better partner to a partner, as well as being just a platform that integrates well and again enables you to see the data you want, where you need it, and how. So that's a key pillar, if you will. And then, of course, continuous innovation, customizing detections, continuing to really be novel about how we're analyzing threats and looking at anomalies, thinking internationally. There's a lot of other capabilities that we're pushing towards, as well as just generally scaling with our customers and making it so that Blumira does what you need it to do. There's a lot, this is not an all-inclusive list, but it is a lot of what we're thinking about, and where we really are excited to, again, get more of your feedback. This is hopefully the beginning of a discussion for all of us. You've got access to us. Please reach out anytime. Product@blumira.com is always great if you've got any thoughts and questions. But if you will go to the next slide, Zoe, just to give you a little bit of a timeline on this. So obviously today, AI launch, relatively straightforward. We're starting to work around kind of those ingestion and response capabilities, which also ties into, again, what Amanda mentioned a little bit in terms of like how do we extend evidence and do that in a little bit of a more exciting way. If you've been with us all year, you've seen some of the work we've done within the findings experience. Obviously, this is another layer to that, and we have more to come. And so we're really excited to continue to make the places you're living within Blumira really a great experience. And that kind of leads into H1, where we're going to kind of deliver those, get out of beta, and start making that a better experience for everybody, depending realistically, almost no matter the tier that you're on with us. And so that's a big piece of it. And then getting into kind of how do we pull data from ingestion sources and make it easier to build reporting off of it, make it easier so that the detections you're running make sense for your organization, and make it easier for you to manage Blumira the way you want, as well as obviously continuing to invest in AI, reduce noise, increase automation, and just be the best partner, be the best platform for you all. But that's my 5 minutes. So thanks, Zoe.
Awesome. And we did get a couple more questions in asking if we have or have planned integrations with any popular automation platforms to extend this response capability.
I don't have anything specific to share today, though the question itself is always helpful. I will say that I know, as an example, just to share it, if you basically take our API documentation today or take our Swagger, you can just kind of throw that into Roost as an example, and it will basically automatically tell you the automation it's able to build off of it. And obviously, we have some kind of like demo code out there on different things that you can do with our platform, the API itself. But automation platforms, things like Tines, we're always thinking about it, and it's a good question. So thank you for asking it.
That demo code you mentioned, that's on our GitHub.
Yeah, that's on the public GitHub. Not like production code or anything like that, but just to show you an example of what you could build off of our API today. Yes.
Awesome. We got a question here from Steven saying, I sometimes struggle with making effective detection filters for noisy alerts. Will the AI take true false positives into account and suggest filters based on the evidence?
I don't think we suggest filters within the AI response today. I don't know, Amanda, if you have any thoughts on this one that you would want to share.
Not specific detections, or sorry, not specific detection filters. It will give you recommendations for tuning. But that is one of the other use cases that we've talked about using AI for.
Yeah, it's definitely one in terms of just like we're talking about reduced noise, making it so that our AI is being proactive there, especially with, to your point, that we have kind of every customer has a little bit of customization. And so how do we build the right filters for your org? I think it's a good opportunity for us and pretty much exactly what I'm thinking about for next year. So I appreciate that question.
Marvelous. Well, we have one more announcement for you today. So, a lot of what you've seen today and from us over the last year is, again, trying to simplify the process of understanding what's happening in your environment, capturing that whole picture, but helping you to focus on what matters and get to a resolution faster. And we are extending that to the names of our additions. Why? Why are we throwing everything out the window and adding new names when we're already doing so many other things? A question I have certainly asked myself many times over the last several months.
Because it's
And
fun, Zoe, because it's
it
fun.
is. It's very fun. But I think, I was trying to figure out how to make the slides for this, and really, I think this encapsulates the problem. We are absolutely swimming in a ocean of acronyms right now, and these are product categories and technologies that, in many cases, will have some level of overlap between their function. Oftentimes, will need to be paired or complementary in order to capture that entire picture. And in some cases are more introduced as a marketing measure than actually needing to designate a new category. So you have been saved from the absolutely god-awful joke that I originally came up with of Chef Boyardee, geez, we need a better answer. Don't worry, I used it anyway. And so this is our alphabet soup of acronyms that we want to get you out of. We want to provide clarity and not further acronym soup. So, just as a refresher, if it's been a while since you've taken a look at our editions, but currently we have Sim Starter as our introductory level edition. Sim Plus as our central edition gives you core functionality, and XDR to really add that extended level of ability to automate some of your response options. So what are these new names? They're exactly what they help you to do. We're extending that same idea of simplifying the process and following function rather than trying to chase what the right acronym is. So now you're going to be able to start your security journey with Detect. That's going to give you access to our pre-built integrations that'll drop right in and give you clear visibility on day one through the also pre-built and pre-tuned detection rules created by our team of detection engineers. Respond is going to help you to better leverage what you find, giving you not only those detailed workflows and how to investigate and respond. Thank you, Monty. I like to think so. Love to get that instant feedback. As well as extending that visibility, giving you access to Blumira Agent for that EDR visibility into your endpoints and complement that local network environment and cloud environment visibility that you're going to be able to receive. You are also going to get access to the modules that can be installed through Blumira Agent, like our most popular one, our honeypot, which is going to help you get early visibility into potential malicious activity that's targeting your environment. Along with all of the reporting options that are already available to you under Detect, you're going to get expanded access to Blumira Investigate, which makes it really easy for you to build live investigations on the fly, starting from a single piece of telemetry and refining and zooming in until you're able to isolate what that anomaly is as you're going through the process of investigation. One of the big advantages of what we offer here is you get that full year of historical context to really help you understand what normal looks like and when something unusual is actually happening in the environment. Automate is going to take that to the next step. So that is going to extend your ability to do host isolation from the dashboard itself to automatically isolate those compromised hosts until you're able to hop in and follow up for remediation. You are able to automatically implement changes in block listing, both from Blumira and from community feeds. You're going to get that access to our API and even further support in your onboarding. So we want to meet you where you are. We consider security to be a process of evolution, not revolution. There's not a single step that you're going to take that's going to magically solve every security question forever. But we want to make it easy for you to get an effective strategy in place and mature it as you prove out that it is doing what you need for it to do. I will go ahead and pause there. Say thank you for everybody who has stuck through it with us. Thank you, Amanda, for jumping back in after you froze. And if you have any questions that we weren't able to address as we went through, please feel free to add those in the Q&A section. In the meantime, let's see what we've got here. Michael, I think this one will be for you. So we definitely put in this first release a strong focus on enabling those human responders. Can you talk a little bit about our thinking there and how that factors into how autofocus is going to mature as we expand it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, to your point, a lot of what we've done here is about enabling people, and that's really intentional. And it's kind of our part of our journey is we want to bring people along with us and kind of educate and enable. That's how we think about this first launch and really the product. When you think about historically our workflows, that our tooling brings our customers along with us. And that's how we think about our AI is it's a tool to inform. And then you get to kind of like, one thing Amanda didn't mention is a little thumbs up, thumbs down. So you get to provide us some immediate feedback about your feelings about the tooling. And obviously, then you get to reach out to us, give your feedback, all those other things. But we also get to watch hopefully how you respond and how you use it, both workflows with response actions and other things to come. And that's where we want to get to, is like based on how you use it and the actions that you take, then extending the capabilities throughout Blumira, as well as extending on the AI, whether that's different interaction modules, whether that's different ways to use the tooling and things like detection filters. We're looking for that type of feedback, but then also we're going to be watching what our customers are doing, how you're using it, and building it based off of that. So again, it's that partnership, it's that education, it's Blumira plus people is better, and that goes from obviously our support team to you all as our users, as our customers.
Awesome. Another question here, one that I love to see. If folks aren't already on our Today XDR, very soon Automate edition, are they going to be able to try out autofocus? So I think a question here is probably going to be, if somebody is doing a trial, are they going to be able to test out autofocus?
I can take that. You want me to? All right,
Yeah,
perfect.
go ahead.
I should have called on somebody. That's on me.
Like, and go. Yes. So with our automate, with our change in licenses, we're going to have a full automate trial to replace our XDR trial. And yes, you will be able to use the automate in that. We want to give you as full of an experience as we can of the full product itself. And that is becoming a large part of it. So we definitely want to include that in the trial.
Yeah. And so for anyone who doesn't have access today, please reach out to us, reach out to the sales team. They'll be able to get you access. And for anyone not on Blumira, again, reach out or go to the website now and you'll be able to get a trial and get started and play around with it.
Yep.
Fantastic. Well, I think we were able to get to most questions as we went through. So thanks everybody for adding your questions quickly, because it's great when we can touch on it in that moment there. For those that may have joined partway through, yes, we will be sending out a recording of today's webinar in a follow-up email. So if you missed part or had to drop early, don't worry. You will be able to see all of that. As I mentioned, we have a lot more information about autofocus going up on our blog, including a detailed look into how we conceptualized, developed, and validated autofocus through the process of getting it ready for a public release. So please take a look at that. As Michael said, we are very actively soliciting feedback to look at how we can continue to make this better for you as we build autofocus out and further extend its capabilities. And with that, I want to thank our presenters. I want to thank our audience for joining today. I want to thank you for all of your great questions. And until next time, everybody, stay safe out there. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.